Marketing Mixers. I'm Chanel.
And I'm Nasia.
And today we are drinking passion fruit martini.
Yes. If you'd like to get your drink sponsored on this show, please contact us in the email below.
We have an exciting new topic for you today: ethnic diversity in marketing and advertising. I am of Caribbean descent.
And I am of African descent, Nigerian to be exact, Igbo and Yoruba to be precise.
I've been working in the marketing field for many years now, from startups, dealing with sole traders, scale ups, and big international companies. So I've learned a lot across all of these years, and I'm really excited to show you what I've learned.
Yeah. And I've been in different aspects of marketing for the past 10 years, 10 to 12 years. I started off in market research and strategy, moved to digital marketing agencies in a project management capacity. I've been a client director, advertising, more so telling advertisers on how to improve their marketing mix overall. And now I'm in advertising tech. So we are basically saying we're not new to this. We have varied experience to really speak about ethnic diversity in marketing and advertising because we are also ethnic, whatever that means. So let's discuss, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a stats babe, so I'm going to start off with some stats because you have to kind of set the context. What is new? Where are we trending when it comes to diversity, specifically for ethnic groups? So, Statista Research conducted a survey of more than 3,000 marketers from the UK. You may have been included in this, you never know. And 6.5% were marketers who identified as Asian or Asian British, followed by 1.8% of individuals who identified as Black, African, Caribbean, or Black British. So that would have been us.
Yeah.
And the remaining 4.4% identifies as mixed race or belonging to multiple ethnic groups. And this is currently tracking behind the representation that we started to see in 2022 after the whole George Floyd, I guess, woke companies movement. I don't know what to call it, but you all know what I'm talking about. And I just have this feeling, I'm not saying it's based in data, but it's just based on, I guess, experiences and people I've spoken to that the effects might be starting to wane off. This research was done, I think, in the first half of 2023. So let's see where we land by the end of 2023. But it was very easy for companies to jump on this wave to be seen as doing something and being part of something. However, with the pandemic and all the macroeconomic pressures that came from that, I have got on very good authority from many people I've spoken to that one of the first things to go was the budget for Black History Month and the events. And I'm like, guys, is it now like, oh, we want to be woke, we want to be part of it, we want to be seen doing our bit, but when it doesn't like help our bottom line, we're gonna cut it. Like, do you know what I mean?
That was the same for marketing for like offline marketing as well. It completely shut down. Shut down.
Yeah.
And that affected me and all the other field marketers out there as well. So, budgets were cut significantly. People were cut significantly. So I just think it's sadly something that affected a lot of people, and it changed the landscape of marketing for that particular point, because I think that's when digital marketing had like an uprise
for sure.
And I think the representation part of it as well, definitely when that happened in America, it was
a wave
over us 100%. And there were a lot of companies that were trying to, really do something.
God bless them. They really did.
And it's nice, but it needs to be continued and carried on. I worked in a company in the city, and they were quite conscious when it came to ethnicity.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's happy, but it's sad as well, because I've worked in this area for so long.
Yeah.
And this was probably one or two, like, out of all the companies I worked for, because I contracted for a while as well. The contracting is when you work for different companies or for a specific time. So it could be 6 months, could be 9 months. It could be for, a specific event or specific, trial that a company is doing. FYI.
We love a tip.
Yeah, so I just think there was maybe two
Hmm.
heads that were black
How big was the
in
company though?
marketing. It was, but huge, right? It was a huge
Oh,
company.
really?
But do you know what I find interesting? What I've recently realized, it was the only in America, because it was an international company I was working for,
Yeah.
and it was the Americans that had the heads of sales that were black, a head of marketing, sorry, that was
Oh,
black,
okay. Yeah.
or a head of field marketing that was black. And it's nice. It's like, yeah, but it's so sad because it hasn't been a lot of companies that I've seen that. And if I
Yeah.
have, it's not been in the UK. It's been in the America counterpart of the company.
Here, I agree. There, it is true. Like I have seen, like especially when we talk about this middle management barrier. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not even just to our industry; it's to many industries. But I think in advertising, I think we index highly on it. That the fact that I don't know many, I actually don't know in my personal group, and I'm not saying they don't exist, any black creative directors. I do not know them personally.
I don't know.
I don't know. I know people that are in marketing that are of, African or Caribbean descent, but I do not know any black creative directors, which is a big red flag to me because our culture
That's a flag.
seems to feed into advertising. Our culture, you will see, and there are certain brands, I will not name their names, but they are in fast fashion, where an email will come through and it will be like, girl, slay this weekend. And we literally could attribute the word
Okay.
using a certain community or on fleek. Now, on fleek was actually created by a black content creator in the US, a
Yeah.
black female. Um, and it's utilized in advertising. And so advertising, as I've said, reflects culture
Yeah.
or it pushes it forward. Now, it's good to have that embracing of different cultures, right? But we know that appropriation is when you're taking from a culture but not giving them the credit or the monetary value associated with what they developed, which we don't like. We
Monetary
don't
value,
like that. We
guys.
don't like that. Put a price tag on top of our value. Like do
Cha-ching.
it, do it. So with that whole, wanting to embrace it, I'm here for those who want to embrace it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, now let's get tactical. How do you operationalize it? How do you make it a reality as opposed to a nice to have? You know, is nice to haves, and there's just have it. Like
Yeah.
go out and do the work. And there are certain companies that have actually there's certain tech companies that have, I think, done this in a better way. So, for instance, Amazon, they have principles on how to hire diverse talent,
Yeah.
and it goes to the point of even hiring a recruiter whose job is specifically to find ethnic talent. And I've been like recruited that way, where someone was like, I'm here to find candidates that look like you who have the talent. So it's not just a tick box exercise. It's like you also have the merit, you have the credentials to qualify
Yeah.
to be part of this pool. But I actually found that really good. Some people may be like, oh no, that's it. But no. If you're gonna do it, you're gonna have to find, because we are, we're not the biggest population.
Yeah.
So to find the talent in those populations, you're going to have someone who is focused on it. Otherwise, you're just going to have recruiters who are going to go for the easiest job, which is let me just get someone in there, and the majority of them may be white candidates. I think it can't be a tick box exercise where you're just letting people through the door because they're ethnically diverse. It
Yeah.
has to be based on credentials and, you know, having tactical elements of trying to find that talent. How do you attract them? And once you attract them, how do you keep them?
I worked for a company and they had a referral program.
Oh,
Now, that seems nice,
yeah.
but if 98% of them are of one background,
Yeah. Yeah.
generally speaking,
Yeah.
it's unlikely that who they're going to refer is going to be of
Mm-hmm.
a different background from them.
Yeah, for real.
Possibly, but it's unlikely.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, people that have, use that system and got their, because it's generally
Yeah.
like a monetary value for your
Yeah.
referral, right?
Incentivize people, to
Yeah,
be honest.
it's generally they have the network of people and they pick from that, or they know a friend, or something like that, and it goes through that. Generally, I'd say it was friends. Like everyone that I've known that's done a referral, it's generally been a friend, right?
Yeah.
Someone in their circle, or someone from a certain club that they attend. So without being too
Party, but hey, do you want to
focused,
hire here?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's good. It's like you're trying. It's nice that
Yeah.
you're trying, but if we are going off just referrals, it's always going to be the same type of people in your company, right?
It's money.
Because you're
Yeah.
picking from the same pool.
Yeah. It's true. And the way that incentives I've seen that have worked, where people do hit the quotas that they have for ethnic diversity. And I think it is fair to say that your pool of employees should reflect the general population. We
Yeah.
are like, I think about 3% of the UK population. So I should therefore see 3% of the Black population in your company. And not only that, but also at the different levels. So we've got 3% of your, junior, entry level, mid senior, then like leadership, execs. I'm talking about diversity across the board because
Yeah.
one thing I've noticed with data and being a stat babe is that some of these results are skewed because you can get people entry level, you can get them in internships, you can get them, but
Yeah.
are they staying? And what is your retention
Retention.
of these people? Like, I think certain companies who take it seriously
Yeah.
incentivize their leadership to be like, okay, your bonus pool also requires you to make sure that your teams are diverse, so you better create a strategy that works. If people's motivations to get things done is money, I'm all here for it. If it means at the end of the day, people like me, who look like me or who don't see enough of themselves there,
Yeah.
are like can come through the doors. So I'm here for it. Other people may not like it, but something's got to change.
I think it's not just down to HR as well.
Oh no, speak on it. It's not just you, HR. It's not.
Because I know some people that work for HR, and you know they do have a lot on their plate generally,
Yeah,
especially when it comes to the time frames to fill something.
yeah,
Especially if it's a contracted role, they have to start by a certain time, right? So
yeah.
there's certain things that maybe go by the wayside because they have to hit that goal, right? So I do understand that, and I think a lot of other people need to understand that it doesn't all fall on on HR, because as I said, we do have these schemes, but again, it depends on who you hire to be in the company that the schemes will be successful in the terms of diversity,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's true. So even like, as I said, we've talked about getting people through the door in terms of recruitment and whose plate it lands on. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a mixture of HR as well as leadership being incentivized to ensure that their teams are diverse. But as I said, the word retention. So in 2021, the Ad Association's recent census showed that a third of the Black talent in advertising says they'll leave the industry altogether over the lack of inclusion, while 27% of Asian talent said the same. And can I just point out, I didn't say BAME because I pointed out the Asian community where these stats are shown and the Black community. That's a topic for another day. It might be the topic for today, but I could spend hours just talking about BAME and why it's problematic in my point of view.
BAME is not okay.
It's not. BAME is the bane of our
lives.
Let's cut it out. Just speak about it's okay to identify me as a Black woman. I don't mind that. If you want to be specific and call me an African woman, Black British, I prefer that. It's more accurate. So
Let me just jump in quickly,
yeah.
because I was at a company, right, and I was discussing this with the head of communications at the time.
Yeah.
And he was like, what's the best way to speak about
We do
you
it the hush
when
voice, the
you're
whisper.
yeah,
It's the best.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, should I use colored? Like, if it's black, is that too, and
it's
like,
very wrong. We passed those times.
it was
guys.
nice that he was inquisitive and wanted to know like my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
To for him to be comfortable, because I think sometimes it's a thing where they don't want to offend you.
Yeah.
So then they say what the general,
I hear it. Yeah.
public say.
Mm-hmm.
So then they stick to the BAMEs, they stick to the coloured, which I hate because I'm not a crayon box, but it's fine.
Yeah. People of color.
Yeah, like
United Colors of Benetton. Like, I don't know, like, which, like, pick one. I don't know which one is, like...
Let's stop it, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it, and I'm definitely not here for it. And if you do feel uncomfortable, just like the guy was with me, ask your colleague, because sometimes I had to say, I was like, I'm not. You don't say colour, just say black. Just call me a black lady.
Yeah. That's fine.
Because
Exactly.
I really just don't like that word.
No,
And I think it's personal preference.
I appreciate the fact that he asked. And I think there is a balance of utilizing the ethnic diverse talent that you have and not literally adding to their workload, because there was a time where I actually had to step out of a I don't know what they're called, ERG groups, where it's like,
yeah,
because it was just, you're going to organize the Black History Month events, you're going to, and I'm like, sorry, like, isn't this a full-time job? I already have a full-time job.
Started.
Why am I now tasked with these KPIs of making this event a success? This is literally not my job. And I felt it to be quite insulting, and I left it. I left that group and I left the company. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. I refuse to do it. I'm not going to be token black. I'm not going to be the token black person, the person that you're going to push out for diversity, or I'm not a tick box exercise. And I think that's why I feel like that is something that would come from these people, us in the advertising industry, leaving at some point because of that lack of inclusion. And when we're talking about inclusion, it's one thing to ask us to come to the party, right? That's diversity. You're telling me to come to the party. You're welcome to the party. Come to my party. It's great. Whoa, it's rooftop.
there,
wonderful. Baby. And then the step further of inclusion is then asking me as a DJ, hey, what song would you like played next? We're taking requests. What would you like? Don't suggest that it's going to be like, do you want Bashment? Don't suggest it.
It's your song.
Exactly. No. Don't suggest it. That. Yeah, don't say it's like, ask me. And then I might be like, do you know what? I might like some reggaeton.
Yeah.
I don't, but I might.
Yeah.
Give me the chance to tell you what I see as inclusion. Yeah. That's the difference. And I think that's where we get from the publicity we care about, and Blackout Tuesday, to this is at the heart of what we do. We believe in diversity and inclusion of ethnic groups, and we know that it makes a difference. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. Let's not get it twisted. There have been improvements, and I have seen improvements over my tenure.
Love that word.
As someone in marketing, and I think everyone can attest to seeing in the media, and especially on the TV ads that we see, that the groups of people are starting to have different hues, different tones, different ethnic backgrounds, which is great. I mean, a company that did it before this whole thing became a movement was John Lewis in 2016, where they had the boxer dog and the trampoline ad where it had all the winter animals jumping on the trampoline, and the whole family was black. And I was just like, I mean, the trampoline is cute, but yo, who's the marketing lead on this? Who decided to be this?
Because I would like to know that. That would be interesting.
Honestly, hit us up, because like we see the John Lewis adverts as almost now like a tradition. Oh, did you see the John Lewis advert this year? It was this and that. Oh, it was. And so to make that bold decision to say, yeah, we're going to cast a black family, even though the majority of the UK isn't black, they are still represented.
Yeah.
You could have one Christmas ad or your 10 Christmas ads represent a black family, because that would still be in balance with what reaches your target audience or your market. And I thought that was very bold. I loved it. I still like it. I'm loyal to John Lewis. I do shop there.
Yeah.
But it made a difference in my eyes. And, I think it started the trend, because 2016 wasn't the other day. I was thinking, it was the other day, but it wasn't. So yeah, it's not all doom and gloom. I think we're starting to see more cultural references in the marketing that reflects the environment that we're in. It would also be good to see the people behind the camera. Yeah. Behind the camera be as diverse as what we're seeing, because then it's a bit disingenuous. It's like, I just want to get past the tick box. It's like, have we done it? Did we do the black ad? Have we done one?
Oh no, have we done one? Not the black ad.
Tick. Like, can we move past that and get into like, meat, substance? Give me some substance, your ethnic and diversity.
I also think for people who do want to, go into the corporate environment, I do think make sure when you are interviewing that you're interviewing them as much as they are interviewing you. You need to
Mm.
understand
Mm.
where their mind is,
Yeah.
because I did, work at a really, really good company. And only because the managers and the directors were very open minded and they were really pushing towards growing and learning. But actually, people
Mhm.
say that all the time. Oh yeah, we would love to grow, don't we? Like, but the reality is you don't see it in the workforce, right?
Yeah.
But when I was there, one of the seniors above me, he was promoted from the position that I'm filling, right?
Yeah.
The director, she was promoted from here. So I can actually see that they're, when you say but the proof is in the
Yeah,
pudding
yeah.
is there. I saw it. The
You saw
apple
the
crumble
pudding, you
and I
tasted
saw
it.
it. I said,
Oh wow,
okay, this
this
is a
is
bit of
good.
me.
Yeah.
And it showed because when I was there, I was appreciated for what I could do.
Oh, that's great.
And, I just feel like you really do need to not only listen to what people say, but look and see that
Yeah.
is that really what's happening in the company? Is that,
Hmm.
what I'm going to be walking into? Because as well as, you know, the company's making a change, we also need to be very aware of our talents
Yeah.
and to go where we're celebrated. And
Yes.
in order to find that, we need to make sure that the people that we are, or the companies that we're interviewing for, have that same type of energy and
Yeah.
understanding and actually care about growth, but not only for the monetary value of it and can you hit your KPIs, but also where do you want to go in your career?
Yeah.
How do you want to go there? How
Yeah.
can I help? How can I help? Because I
Yeah.
think people hear that all the time because they want to say, oh, like, are you going to come after my job after being here for 6 months? That's not what you want. You want someone who's going to be like, okay, so, right, where do you see yourself going? Okay, so, right,
Yeah.
we have this
Hmm.
course, maybe we can put you on, or that's what you want.
That's the evidence. That's the evidence where it's beyond just on their website that they value
That mission statement.
cultural diversity. Like that's when the proof is in the pudding. When you see people of all levels thriving and the opportunity is presented to everyone. It's not in closed back doors or rooms that you had no idea even existed. Like, yeah,
That frustrates me.
like the table is glass. The table,
Yes.
the room is glass. Everyone can
Yes.
see who's on the table. Everyone can see what they did to get there as well. That's where companies really, I think, thrive. And there are certain companies that are it's second nature to them, and other companies that need a lot more work. And the work needs to be done, but the work doesn't necessarily fall into the hands of your diverse pool that you have already because they're thinking, yo, you need to get more of us in here,
Yeah.
but it's not my job to do it. Like it's not my job to do it. Don't go to me like, oh, who do you know that's like yourself and
Yeah.
you want in there? Like there's actually there are consultants you could talk to.
There are associations which are there to help you specifically look for candidates that are
Oh
black.
yes,
So make use of that also. Do your little Google search and find those as well, because there are so many different ways, and we are trying to help ourselves as black people to get in front of them. But I think it's also the job of the actual company to then search us out or have an
absolutely.
understanding. And I think
Yeah.
the more we kind of celebrate our culture, but not just and solely on Black History Month,
Oh.
then we will, we'll have that understanding and we'll have more contacts and or of people to actually go and speak to
Yeah.
and be like, okay, this person, or referral that way. So
Hmm.
I do think that the burden shouldn't solely be on us.
Yeah.
We can help with there as some type of inspiration if we're
Mhm.
doing well. I get that a lot as well. Sometimes when I get people speaking, this is completely off track. When I get people calling me up, oh hi, we have this contract, da, da, da. They're like, oh, and I'm like, oh no, it's not for me, love. They're like, oh, do you know anyone else that will, benefit from it? I'm like, if I do, I'll let you know. I'll forward you the details and stuff.
Yeah.
That's good, but I only really hear that from like when I'm in my contracting world. I rarely hear it when I'm in like
You're
full
right. You're
time
absolutely right.
jobs.
I've never heard that in full-time jobs actually. That's a
So
very good
maybe.
point. That's a good tactic. Hey, there you go. All free and everything. Something else that I've seen recently, um, is when I was looking into this topic, like there's a man that actually he doesn't know it. I don't know him personally, but when I found out about him, it did inspire me to pursue this industry as a whole. So two things inspired me to pick up
Okay.
advertising. One is Mad Men, the series. If you've never watched it, watch it. It's amazing. It's amazing. And then Magnus Jarba, who is a UK advertising legend, if in my opinion he is. When I saw back in the day, he was like one of the leads, the UK head of Saatchi and Saatchi.
Stop.
Yeah. He's no joke. And then recently he's now been appointed as the global client officer of Publicis Group. Yeah. Publicis Group is one of
Is
the biggest agencies in the world. And not only that, he was also the managing director of Fallon Group, which is a yeah.
what?
That was one of
Okay.
his first senior roles.
Yeah.
And Fallon Group is an amazing creative agency that was also responsible for the Sony Bulls ad. Some of my favorite campaigns of all time, the Cadbury's Gorilla ad that was released in
I can
2007, I
see.
believe. And there's another one, but it's escaped me. But basically, he's no joke in this game, and he's been appointed not just because I think it's just based on his merit, based on his achievements. And I'm sure the thing that sets him apart and what he's achieved with other people who want to aspire to achieve the same thing is probably opportunity and having someone
Yeah.
who you know allows you to be you, the freedom to be you without restriction. We'd love to interview you one day, Magnus Job, if you want to come.
Yes.
When we build this thing,
Yeah.
we'd love to get your point of view. So seeing him, what he's achieved, and watching his career progress as I've started in the industry to now makes me feel like, do you know what? There are possibilities. Even though I must say, 2.9, I think that's the percentage of
Oh dear.
Black female CEOs that we have in our sector. And I would be interested to see, again, looking under the covers of the stats, if these are women who have set up their own companies as opposed to being appointed naturally in a company. That would be interesting
Yeah.
to see. So yeah, there are sparks of hope, but
Yep.
we are far away from what we want to achieve and want to be. But representation matters. If
Yeah.
I see it, then I feel like I can be it. The thing that's like I'm starting to see, and it's in the industry that relates to ours, but it's media. So media now, I think BBC Three is doing a great job at this at the moment. This is from my point of view, in different types of Black content. So we've moved past just the Top Boy. I call it the Top Boy
Error.
era,
Yep.
which was needed to break to
The
show that it's a proof of concept.
yeah.
We can
Yeah.
attain and attract and sustain an audience. Now you'll see more diverse UK Black content out there. You've got a lot of Black content creators. So I think now is the point where industries need to just understand that the Black talent is really actually just screaming in front of your face. It's out there, and you need to just find it. I think the excuse of, well, we just don't know, we just haven't seen the people that are qualified. We have looked. Looked.
Have you
Have
though?
you looked? Because I've seen for companies, they will poach someone else from another company if they think
Yes.
they're good enough.
I've had that too.
So are you even doing that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
I mean,
just
it's out there.
put it out there.
It's happened.
It's happened. Yeah. So yeah.
I agree when it comes to media. I agree with that. That they are really good.
Yeah,
I see
to see
so many
Champion's sick.
different. Yeah.
Champion's very good.
You know, I've seen so many different programs from there. One of the recent ones, Dreaming Whilst Black, is actually directed.
Oh, the director, the guy trying to be.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
It's directed by Joel May David from Bluebird Pictures. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I think it's important that we actually see talent and we use talent, but not just look at what they do and be like, oh, that's so good, and then move on to someone else, or carry their ideas or their essence onto and bring that onto someone else. Like, we need to really appreciate the talent that we have and use that talent, right? Or keep that connection. When you see something else that maybe they'll be good in, you go back to them, instead of just like then doing like another search. Because that's how I get the contracts that I have, it's generally through the people that I've worked with before, people that
Okay.
I've
They refer
spoken
you
to.
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they refer me. So I feel like that needs to
That's
be
ally
really
stuff, you know.
prevalent.
That's ally stuff. It's that, like, if you're watching this, you're thinking, well, how can I help? I care about this, but I'm not, from an ethnic minority. It's stuff like that, being the ally, or being the voice supporting the person when they're not even in the room, the advocate
Yeah.
for that person. And I've had some amazing people throughout my career who have done that. Like my manager now, she's just a super advocate. Like I see her as a super ally, where they will go like over and beyond for you, because sometimes I think certain people realize that their privilege can be utilized for someone else who has less privilege.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to need to advocate for themselves as hard,
Exactly.
but they can utilize it for someone else, and that's all helpful and always appreciated when it's done with a sincere heart and the right framing.
I think if there was any takeaway, it will definitely be that. So you're sitting there thinking, how can we, how can we do this? We hear, like, we know what the problem is, but we don't know how to fix it. I think whenever you're in, or like, if you're in a company, right, and you work with someone and you know that they're really good at what they do, and if, for instance, when there was COVID, there was a whole load of people that were out of work. I had a amazing manager at that point. He was directing me to so many different companies. Oh, she's really good. I said, wow,
Wow.
look at this life.
Yes.
So the thing is, it really just takes people who care
Yeah.
and know that you're really good at what you do,
Yeah.
and they want you to succeed.
Yeah.
And I think I've been really, really blessed and lucky to have actually come across some of them,
Yeah.
who were more than willing to help, whether it's writing recommendations, whether it's reaching out to people that they know, the C-level,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Reaching up to those and saying, if you do have anything, then I know this really great person, or just giving me the email, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Putting me in contact, putting me in CC, doing an introduction. There's so many different things that you can do to, help evolve a person. And I think that's the reason why, or not the sole reason, but that's definitely got something to do with why I was able to be so blessed over all these years and work at
Yeah.
some amazing companies.
And because you're good, she's very good. I'm just gonna say that.
Period.
Absolutely.
Is because of the relationships that I've fostered at all of these different companies.
Yeah.
And leaving on good notes, keeping in contact with those people.
Yeah.
And also being active, within the different fields that I have. And also because one of the fields that I work in is literally field marketing, right, which is event marketing. So making sure you take those pictures, you keep your portfolio,
Yes.
all the recommendations that you get from the jobs that you've worked at, literally send that email to your personal email, so you have that there, so you can attach that. Because sometimes when you apply for jobs, they say any additional stuff. I do my letter of recommendations. I do like
throw
a
it
whole
all in.
list of, or all of the time someone said, "Oh, Marsh, now that was a great event," and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
keep that
yeah,
down
yeah.
and put that all
I do.
there.
I keep my list of like great people.
Yeah.
And that's really important for us to do, because sometimes I don't know if it's like, I can't speak on everyone's experience, but I feel like sometimes you have to sometimes prove yourself.
Yes,
Even though
I
you've been
do.
proving yourself along the way, but
do.
sometimes you need to have those ready to go. And this is speaking for those who are ethnically diverse. I don't know if that's correct language, but need, like, how do I showcase that I'm like, I need that promotion, or how do I showcase myself for the next role and stand out? It's doing stuff like that, keeping a track record of your amazing work, and making sure you are at a level that is, I'm not saying above, because I don't believe in being twice as good. Like, count me out of that. I'm good. I'm just great.
Yeah.
In my own standard. Keeping a track record of when you are performing at a high level is very helpful. So yeah.
But also believing in yourself, right?
Yes.
Because there are some times where people are like, oh, we'll give you this day, right? Excuse me.
Brother.
Did you see the
Add a
last
zero.
1,000 people event that I've done? 1,000 plus people in a different country in like a few weeks. Oh, sorry.
Add a zero.
Did you see the ROIs I got? Oh, sorry.
Add a zero.
Add
the zeros.
You do have to believe in yourself, because people will offer you what they want to offer you, unless you say, hi, please see the evidence below of my last work. Here's the contact of the person I last worked with. They said I had a really good job. I'm really trying to elevate myself
Yeah.
in my career, and I'm hoping that we've got this far. So I know that you see the potential in me. I would, ideally, my next rate would be this. And
Yeah.
sometimes I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say this. Sometimes you need to walk away from things that don't serve you, things that don't make you grow.
Oh.
Because it's so easy to stay at a certain level because you're like,
You're preaching.
no one wants to push me any further. Sometimes you need to push yourself.
Sometimes you need to push yourself and also push yourself out the door when they're moving mad.
Oh,
Let me
bye.
let me tell you one of my mad experiences, yeah. I had I'm not gonna name the company, but this one actually requires a little sip. Hold on, let me just get this one because it's a
The
bit
sippy
mad.
sip sip. We gotta drink.
So I remember getting this role at a company. I didn't think I was going to get the role because the manager and me weren't vibing in the interview process at all, right? But he was from an ethnic diverse background. And when I started the role, I think we went out for lunch at one point, and he told me, kid you not, quote me on this because it's a quote. He said to me, "Oh yeah, I tend to like, hiring people from ethnic diverse backgrounds because they work harder than the rest." So I immediately got from this is early on, that, oh no, I am going to be a workhorse. My guy is going to throw all the projects at me and I am going to be snowed under. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. It's
Red
exactly what
flag.
happened. I mean, I was younger in my career, so I didn't really think of how to maybe pass that feedback on to somebody else that should have heard it, because there's no reason why someone like that should be hiring or managing a team. But also the fact that it was true. It was a nightmare. That whole role was a nightmare for me. And it goes to show that not everyone close to your hue is what you should do. Like, I needed to make that rhyme, but basically what I'm trying to say is it's not a black and white thing here. There are people who understand what having ethnic diverse talent means for the company, how they should support them. And so you need to ask those inquisitive questions whilst you're in your interview process.
Yep.
Ask for the proof. Like, what's happened over the past 5 years when it comes to your talent, and how have you supported these individuals, to know if it's going to be a good fit? Because you could think, oh well, I got the job, and you're in a basement.
Oh, basement.
You're in a basement. So, yeah, that's just I think we've kind of unpacked this a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean,
We could go on and on though.
we really could, because there's so much, and I think especially when it comes to the interviewing process, I think people are very scared almost to be asking questions. But guys, they
Yeah.
always say, "So, do you have any questions
Questions
for
me.
us?"
Ask them the questions, guys.
Yeah, yes, I do. So, can you tell me your turnover of marketing staff in the past year?
Mad.
These are the things you need to know, because you need to know the trends, good or bad, that happen within the company, because you're going to be there, right? And generally, I assume whenever someone takes a role that's full time, they want to be there, they want to learn and grow and elevate themselves. So you need to know if the company is also on that same path, or whether there's going to be someone that's a marketing director in that same position for 15 years, because they're going to stay there and you're going to stay in assistant level.
Yeah,
It's like, it's one of those things. You're going to have to wait until someone leaves.
That's dead.
And really look at the type of people that are there, especially when you're in marketing. No matter, because I'm in tech, fintech. There's still a bit
Tech
of creative.
Babes in tech.
There's still a bit of a creative element to it, right? So you need to see who is your team. Are they going to be inspiring, or are they going to be like, no, we've done this way for 15 years
And we're going to do it for 50
and we're going to
more.
continue doing this.
Right, honey, you just got it here.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
H-I-J-K.
L-M-N-O-P.
This is what we're going to do.
And that's
Run
that.
for the hills. And
that's
honestly, if they get uncomfortable in the questions that you're asking, and you're asking these questions with like you need to know the answers. If they get uncomfortable or feel a certain type of way about it, or you don't get the job, then it probably wasn't for you in the first place.
And you don't want to be somewhere that you're going to feel uncomfortable in those situations, in those scenarios, because that says a lot about them as a company.
Yeah.
So please take note and don't like get a little pen and paper out. But don't, again, you should have that confidence about you and in your skills. And even if you're new to this, role, you can find a mentor. Again, there's other associations that help with finding mentors for people that want to get into, this space, but maybe don't want to go into university or, for whatever reason they can't. So I just feel like don't feel scared or put off being in advertising or marketing if you don't have a degree, or if you don't know, if you have no contacts, you're just starting out, or you're coming from, what is it, college now? Yeah, if you're coming from college, or even if you're coming from school.
Yeah.
How you're too young, no?
Anyway. You could get apprenticeships, you could get straight from college.
That's
true.
There's other ways. Don't let anyone make you feel like, oh, you need a degree to do this, and then just think, oh, I'm not going to apply. If you feel like you can do what's on that job spec, you best press that apply
button.
Prove
it. Prove yourself. Show them that you can.
Yeah.
And then it's a valid conversation. But yeah, I think that's very solid advice. So we've come to the end of this episode. But if you have any questions for us, or you want to reach out, please add your comments in the comment section below. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Marketing Mixers UK. Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.